Well, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going to be losing our participation if we don't get on with this. So this is the July 27th meeting. As you know, we have some technical and housekeeping matters that we have to get through, and I'm going to go ahead and move that along. We have to make certain findings, the first of which is that we need to verify a quorum of the members participating. We have to make sure their voices are clear, audible, and loud enough for all the other members to hear. So I'm going to take a roll call, and I ask each of the AFDAC members to state your name and the location from which you are participating, where you are, and your name. And everybody should pay close attention to ensure that you can hear your colleagues. I'm going to start with the roll call now. I'm Stanley Franklin. I'm at 1750 Tysons Boulevard. And Eric Cox.
Yes, I'm here, and I'm in New Jersey, Annandale, New Jersey.
Wow, how far is that from the beach?
It's a ways. This is where my ALS buddy lives, so I've got a baby monitor here too. If he stops breathing, I might have to leave the meeting for a few minutes, but otherwise okay. I'm here.
And Jay Doshi. Is Jay with us or not? I'm putting an X by his name. And Giff Hampshire.
Giff is here, currently in my office in Fairfax, but heading to Stafford County.
Wonderful. Hugh Newcomb.
Yes, I'm at my farm at 9627 Leesburg Pike, Indiana.
Your tomatoes are mighty good this year, Hugh.
Thank you. Thank you.
Charlie Nichols.
Here, 438 Riverbend Road, Great Falls.
Andrew Painter.
Andrew Painter. I am at 200 Clarendon Boulevard in Arlington at my office.
Jeff Barnes.
I am downstairs on the first floor of the Heritage Building.
Ken Strafer. Ken is not with us. And here is a name of a person that I've never seen. John Faust. Amongst the absent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have a quorum.
Yay.
And so we can be formal, I'll note that each member's voice, at least to me, and you all say, if not to you, that we each can hear each other adequately. As determined by our roll call, we have 7 members present. Satisfies the quorum minimum. We need to establish now that each member's voice can be heard by the other. So I'm going to make a motion that the state of emergency caused by COVID-19 pandemic makes it unsafe for AFDAC to physically assemble, unsafe for the public to physically attend any meeting that is so unsafe. And I further move that AFDAC may conduct this meeting electronically through WebEx with the detail which you all obviously have because you're here, and it's included in the meeting materials. Finally, it's required that all matters addressed in the agenda are statutorily required or necessary to continue the operations and to discharge the purpose and lawful duties of this committee. And we can consider that a motion, and hearing no objection, I will conclude that we have met the necessary statutory requirements. And finally, if necessary, the chairman will determine how long each member of the public will be able to speak during the public comments period. I don't see that there's any public member here, but if one shows up and starts talking about something too long, I'll be sure to suggest they settle down. Now, you have before you the minutes from the May 18th meeting. Jeff, you're usually a good eye on those. Any comments or objections to those minutes?
I did not have any comments.
Hearing none, we will accept the minutes of the May 18th meeting as stated. And now, Ellen, I think it is your turn.
Okay, hi everybody. I have a couple of informational items for you. I first wanted to acknowledge and thank everybody for submitting their One Fairfax policy acknowledgements, and I have received everybody's signed acknowledgements from the committee. So we're good with that. We have 3 renewal applications that have been accepted: the Castro, the Cox, and the Sanders local A&F. And we just confirmed dates, AFDAC dates for all 3 of those cases. The first 2, Castro and Sanders, will be heard in September, and Cox will be heard in October. We have not received the Nippling and Potomac Vegetable Farm renewal applications, but I am working with Hugh on the submission via Plus. And I wanted to go ahead and introduce our new AFDAC staff liaison, Tony Obuekwe. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Tony, to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Tony Obuekwe. I'm a senior planner in the environmental review division. So I'll be helping out with most. I've got meetings, subsequent ones, especially the ones for September, October. So I look forward to working with every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, thanks, Tony.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, we can go ahead, and I will be presenting the Coster local A&F renewal application.
Thank you.
Oh, wait. Don't we have a business on the One Fairfax on the agenda?
Yes, so I wanted to just let everybody know that I have received everybody's One Fairfax policy acknowledgements, so there's nothing left to do for that. I have received everybody's.
I have a couple of questions. After reading the One Fairfax policy, how does it affect our organization committee? It seems to me that of all the things that I think of in Fairfax, our program is probably the least equitable program in the county. If I don't know if we have statistics, but if we're saying that we represent the county as a whole, I don't believe that our program does. And I have a question about how our implementation of One Fairfax and our implementation of the agricultural forest districts, how they jive, because it doesn't seem to me that they do. And when I was going through this, I had concerns, and I'm addressing them at this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. I think that's the sort of thing that we probably can address when we're considering bylaws and a couple of other issues there, but good point.
I mean, I've ascertained it, I've signed it, but yet I have problems implementing it. Enough said. I think we need to have more of a discussion of this matter.
Good.
Hey, Jeff,
Ellen, you
it's
can
Kelly.
continue.
I was just going to say, Jeff, it's Kelly Atkinson. I'm the branch chief. I appreciate your concerns and sharing that. And if that's something that you want to put on a future agenda item, if you could just articulate those concerns as a committee to staff.
Well, no, the committee, I'm articulating to you is how are we in this committee supposed to implement One Fairfax, given what our job is as it is now? And I would hope the staff has an answer to that question.
Yeah, I don't know that we have an answer for you right today.
Okay.
Yeah.
On our third meeting of this year, please get back to us on that. Thank you.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, just to say, my recollection, and I don't have it in front of me, was just to acknowledge and confirm that we had received and reviewed it, not that we were taking concrete steps in furtherance of it.
Well, it seems to me that begs a question.
Does anybody else have any comments or questions about that policy?
No.
Okay, well, we will certainly get back to you on that answer and hopefully by the September meeting be able to address that if there is further discussion.
Thank you.
With no other discussion, I will now present the Costers Local A&F District Renewal Application. So this application requests a renewal of the Costers Local A&F District for an additional 8-year term. The 20.3 acre property is located at 13120 Cedar Ridge Drive and 13121 Fox Shadow Lane in the Springfield District. There are 3 other A&F districts nearby. The property is zoned residential conservation or RC district and is planned for residential uses at a density of 0.1 to 0.2 dwelling units per acre and private open space. Portions of the subject property have been owned by the applicant since the 1980s. The remainder was purchased in approximately the year 2000. Parcels 7Z, 8Z, and 9Z were previously part of the Zillium Local A&F District, which expired in 2000, and the 4 parcels are contiguous. Almost the entire property is developed with agricultural and forestal uses. 0.3 acres of land is used for residential purposes. The development contains 2 residences and 2 horse stables, as well as a run-in horse shelter, outdoor riding ring, and 2 sheds. Pastured riding areas surround the home and spread across the remainder of the district. The property lies within the Water Supply Protection Overlay District, which is intended to protect the Aquapond Reservoir, the main drinking water source for Fairfax County. Johnny Moore Creek and its tributaries flow throughout this property. Johnny Moore Creek flows on the western edge of the property and is shown on this picture. The areas around the creek are generally forested or have forested buffers, with some areas previously cleared and fenced for pasture. Trees have fallen into this creek, however, the Costers have made improvements to the property, including removal of the fallen trees. This map depicts the 9.62 acres of resource protection area, which is the red speckled area of the map. The blue speckled area depicts the 7.56 acres of floodplain on this property, and the green hatched area is the 18.85 acres of EQC, or Environmental Quality Corridor, established back in 2004. At the time of the site assessment, there were no horses or signs of horses being located on the property. Mr. Mark Huskers explained that during the winter months, the horses are kept on his farm in Nokesville, Virginia, and he is in the process of bringing them back on site. This area is the outdoor riding ring where horse therapy lessons would take place. It is located in the fields between the 2 residences along the north side of the tributary on the southernmost parcel 6Z. Mr. Mark Coster's daughter plans to teach horse therapy lessons for groups between 1 to 4 horses. Willie Wood, the conservation specialist from the Northern Virginia Soil and Water Conservation District, visited the site last February and provided recommendations. Due to the presence of horses on site, a critical recommendation includes implementing a nutrient management plan based on a soil analysis. Recommendations also include not allowing overgrazing in pasture areas located in the RPA, to not allow manure to be stacked or stored within the RPA, to maintain the existing buffer and widen buffers observed to be less than 35 feet in fields adjacent to channels with perennial flows, implement tree protection measures for trees located in the RPA, and to remove invasive plants present among the existing buffer vegetation and have plans for replanting in place with native plant materials ready for implementation. Jim McClone, the Virginia Department of from the Virginia Department of Forestry, visited the site in May of this year and made recommendations regarding tree and forest management. These recommendations include removing non-native invasive species, to reduce deer herds, harvest firewood as trees die, and work with a certified arborist to manage risk of trees near the houses and outbuildings. Staff finds that the proposed district renewal satisfies all Group A criteria of the ANF code, 5 Group B criteria, and meets the minimum district acreage and other requirements of the code. Should it be renewed, it would be expected to meet all of the other ordinance provisions. Staff recommends approval of the renewal application subject to the proposed ordinance provision. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. Do I hear a motion to endorse the staff recommendation of approval for this application?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it, and we endorse staff recommendation. Ellen, before we,
Let me ask you a question on this.
go ahead.
Is the information as to, is any information about the originator supplicant kept for tracking purposes? Should we be doing that?
I
Jeff
believe
as well.
we,
Go ahead.
I believe
I
we
didn't-
have those applications in paper within our office somewhere.
No. I'm talking about for one Fairfax purposes.
One Fairfax.
Yes. Somebody is going to ask us about equitable solution outcomes of what we're doing, and I need to know whether or not we're tracking that information so we can show what we're doing. That's the question that I'm raising for the future. We can discuss that next month, but when I look at this information, I think it's pertinent.
Well, Mr. Chairman, this is Giff Hampshire. I mean, I think we're supposed to make the decision based upon the criteria in the code. So I'm not sure that we, while one Fairfax may be a laudable policy, I don't know. I'm not getting the connection between the basis upon which we approve applications under the code requirements and this new policy that the county has.
I'm not asking whether or not we need that information to approve it. I'm asking whether the office tracks it so that when it does its report on an annual basis, it can have a one Fairfax portion that talks about whether or not we're equitable.
Jeff, this is Kelly Atkinson again. I appreciate your concerns. One Fairfax is a relatively new policy for the county, and we don't have clear guidance on how equity will, even with land use applications in the planning and development department, how applications will be reviewed with an equity lens. It's something that we're working on, but we don't have those clear guidance yet. So again,
Okay, I understand that and I appreciate that. It's if the county asks us to endorse this, to understand it, then I think it's incumbent upon us to understand how it's being implemented. And that's the reason why I'm asking these questions. We were asked to sign it. I signed it. I want to know how that affects this. And I expect to hear more information in September. One of the things I would think about is tracking that for purposes in the future. When I fill out an application for a mortgage or things like that, there's always a form that asks me to self-proclaim whether I'm Hispanic, non-Hispanic, other abled, But you know what I'm talking about, those forms that you've all filled out. Do we need to do that as well? And again, these are points to consider in the future, but I'm raising them now because we were just asked to address that point today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. And Ellen, can you speak to us about annual report?
Yes. So I am very excited to let you guys know that GIF has drafted the bylaws, and right now our staff is reviewing them, and they have been passed on to the county attorney for review as well. And we anticipate having the bylaws ready for review at the September APDAC meeting. And the policy for participation in meetings by electronic communication is going to be moved for discussion and voted on at the September meeting as well. But after we vote on the bylaws, there are clauses in there that require the bylaws in place for the policy to be effective.
Any questions or comments on annual reports? Is there any other matter to be brought before the meeting today?
Yeah, I have a question. This often comes up when there are recommendations that Willie Wood or McGlone have made for, for improving the riparian buffers and all that. And they have a year to do this. I'm not sure about what the system is to check to see whether the applicant does this within the year. Do you know?
I don't know. Ellen,
Because
do you
I think
understand the
it's,
question?
I don't know if it's condition, their granting of the district to them, giving them their tax, advantages and all that. Whether it's supposed to be that they, is a condition on them doing these improvements?
In my experience, I have only seen the conditions to be checked up on when we do our site visits during a renewal application. But I have not, in my experience, seen somebody go out and check for that condition, whether it has been met or not after the approval, until the applicant reapplies for like a renewal application.
We had this issue come up, Mr. Chairman, a while ago. I think it was probably like maybe 2 years ago or something like that. And the question was whether or not it was possible to yank back an approval if certain conditions were not met. And to the best of my knowledge, I'm unaware of any ANF district that is, again, that sort of yanked back or canceled. But also, I think staff's answer today is the same as it was then, which is, unless they come in for a renewal or unless there's some sort of reporting that's been done by somebody else, I don't know how staff tracks that.
Mr. Chairman, this is Giff Hampshire. I think this is a kind of a perennial sort of question, and I think the underlying question really is our approval conditional, or is the Board of Supervisors' approval conditional upon whatever plans or agreements might be made in response to Willie Wood or Jim McClone's reports? My own view is that it is not. But I could be persuaded to the contrary, but I think that's the underlying question that needs to be answered.
Ellen, if you can capture the issue and the question in your draft of the minutes of this meeting, please do, and let it serve as a point that we can use for discussion, and we'll perhaps ask those who are interested in this point to elaborate a bit with a memorandum or in some way. I think we probably would be able to have this discussion better in a in-person meeting. I'll have to confess that with a lot of expensive equipment around here. Sometimes I don't get every word of what is being said. I've got old ears, but that's a different problem. But I think I get the point. Any further discussion? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So made.
I second that.
This is Robert's Rules of Order. I carry it with me everywhere. And that is not subject to debate. The meeting is over, and thank you all very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Yeah, thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
see you
Stanley.
later.
Click it off.
Okay, and Hugh, you never called me back.
I know, I tried, that's true. That's true.
Okay, I know the
I
meeting's
will.
supposed to be over, but I'm up at Al's, and I understand that Hannah's and John are coming by in a
Great.
couple hours.
Great, wonderful. I thought that they might do that.
Yeah, so that's cool.
And I'll get
That's
a report about Al from them.
okay.
Give
Perfect.
Al my best for,
I will. I'll give him a hug for you.
and Carrie also, of course.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good for you.
Ellen, thanks for the meeting.
Of
Yeah.
course, thank you for attending.
Okay, Hugh, you take care of yourself.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. I guess I'll figure out how to turn this off now.
That's right.
It's here somewhere.
I
Me
can end
too.
the meeting for all of us. I have that power.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, you can end it. Right.
Great.
All right,
Okay,
bye everyone.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye, Hugh.
Bye.